Hello, welcome back to Heliopsychology with Annani Kelly, PhD. That's me. I am still battling a really terrible sinus infection, and it's been ongoing for weeks now. So I apologize if I sound gravelly, if I misspeak. That's been an issue because I am sick and I have been taking real Sudafed, which makes me feel woozy and weird and all sorts of messed up. Um, so my apologies for that. There's going to be a lot of stuff in this video. I'm going to try to get through it kind of quickly, though. I don't want to bog you down, and this is stuff you can look at yourself as well. So today's video, heliopsychology and heliobiology plus Albany. And I do apologize if you hear my cat meowing. He's just, he's very vocal at times. Okay, just to recap, it's all about energy. Our bodies and minds do interact with space weather via the energy of light, electromagnetism, and fluctuation of hormones. Other factors that contribute to our interaction with space weather are the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which filters light, the human electromagnetic fields, endogenous ferromagnetic particles in our bodies and brains, brain waves, HRB, and today's focus, all the groovy space weather and some heliobiology. So we are also having a solar proton radiation storm. It peaked at S4 earlier, but is now back to S3. And according to some of the sources I've seen, this is the largest solar proton storm we have had in over 20 years. So this is a huge thing. Now, I have noticed some technological and physical effects from solar proton storms, but those were anecdotal. And I haven't really come across peer reviewed research that talks about solar proton storms and physical effects. So if you are watching this video and you have something you'd like to share about something you've experienced during solar proton radiation storms, feel free to comment about that. We are experiencing a G4 geomagnetic storm right now, due from the CME from the X flare that we had. Looks like it hit a little earlier than anticipated. So, how are you feeling? I don't feel great, but again, I am in the middle of a sinus infection that just won't quit. So that is part of my deal. So this is the space weather enthusiast dashboard, and I took this screenshot roughly 30 minutes before I made this video. So we were still at S4, but we are now at S3. And no, we did go down to S3 at the time I took the screenshot. My apologies. Again, I'm sick. That's my excuse. So you can see the X flare from a couple days ago in that top graph in the right hand area below that. That's that peak of that solar proton flux, and then right below that the KP index showing that we are at G4, and at the top you can see the solar wind speed values, where we were over the past 24 hours, where we are now, where we might be tomorrow. The BZ component, so we have the BT and the BZ, and there's a very wide gap in between them right now, and that's contributing to the strength of the geomagnetic storm we are experiencing. Now, here's an interesting thing I would like to share with y'all. Now, there's people who say, oh, I don't feel anything, so that must mean everybody else doesn't feel anything when there is space weather. Well, my answer to that is this. First of all, humans are not clones. We are going to experience stimuli differently from one another. I love citrus fruit. That does not mean other people love citrus fruit. Some people find it appalling. Some people are allergic to peanuts. I'm not allergic to peanuts, but that does not invalidate their allergy. And I think one of the reasons for this is because when we see the geomagnetic storming, they give the average over the planet. But that average doesn't necessarily mean that all regions of the planet are experiencing that same level of geomagnetic disturbance. It is an average. So this KP index shows you Boulder, Colorado, Fredericksburg, Virginia, the estimated average of the planetary. And it is strong. So it actually is true that the whole planet is experiencing that right now. And then College Station, Alaska. Now, when you compare these graphs with one another, you can see how these different areas have different magnetic field strengths in each other. So, where you are on this planet is going to have a bearing about how much of that geomagnetic instability you are feeling at any given time. This plot is from the USGS.gov, and here you can look at different regions and look at the magnetic field disturbance. So there's Barrow, Alaska. You can look at Fredericksburg, Virginia. Where's my mouse? Here's my mouse cursor. So there's Fredericksburg. You can choose that. You can look at Tucson, Arizona, or Honolulu, Hawaii, or Guam. And you can choose the channel. You can choose the hour, the day. You can make it custom. You can zoom in, zoom out. So if you want to look at an observatory that might be closer to your region, you would want to go here. Um, I will put this link in the description box for you, so you can go to this link as well. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up, because yesterday I posted a video, and let's just say I had a rude troll telling me that, basically this was not true, that this doesn't happen. And I wanted to show you the AI overview of geomagnetic activity on human health. This is what the AI says. Geomagnetic activity, especially during solar storms, can subtly affect human health, particularly the cardiovascular and nervous systems, leading to potential disruptions in heart rate, blood pressure, sleep, and mood. So then it says potential health effects, cardiovascular, your nervous system, melatonin and sleep, and your immune system. And it gives some mechanisms of action there. It does not list the ferromagnetic particles, which is kind of interesting, but whatever, it's AI. And then research findings. And then it does have a couple links for some as well, along with videos. So on the right hand side. So that's interesting. And just so you know, I also looked up what is heliopsychology, and it does show me, it does spell my name wrong with one N there. Um, so heliopsychology is a developing field of study that investigates the potential effects of solar activity, specifically sunspots, blah blah blah. And it does show research areas, emerging research such as that by Annani Kelly, specifically look at how solar phenomena might affect dream content and patterns. Well, I only did that because I had to narrow my dissertation focus. Um, I would have liked to have expanded it into other elements, but my dissertation committee really wanted me to keep it like tight on one particular area. So I chose dreams. I chose sleep and dreams, but my focus is much larger than that. Moving on. And here's a paper I want to share. And this is human physiological parameters related to solar and geomagnetic disturbances, data from different geographic regions. This is a huge paper, because this looked at areas all around the globe, and it was done by a lot of different groups. So we have someone who is from the Athens Cosmic Ray Group, Faculty of Physics, someone who was on the paper and research team, Space and Solar Terrestrial Research Institute. Someone else is from the Institute of Experimental Physics. So these are really hardcore scientists. And I'm going to jump to a relevant section of this paper. This paper was published in the journal Atmosphere in 2021. And this is at the second from the bottom paragraph. In sum, it can be said that the results from these four projects, which were conducted in different geographic regions, confirm the notion that has been developed over the last decades and has been thoroughly examined by a significant number of scientists worldwide, supporting that space weather phenomena can influence the human physiological state and can be related to variations of physiological parameters of the number of incidents of different diseases. So again, this has been heliobiology has been going on for more than 50 years, based on the research I have done. That's what it's done. Now, another thing I'm going to say is that when I did my dissertation, um, I had 92 participants, and those participants were spread all around the globe, and they all showed very similar effects with a Pearson correlation p-values of 0.01, 0.05, meaning that the probability of it happening by chance was null, you know. Anyway, moving on from this, because I do have a few more things to share. If you are interested in determining past issues that you have had, if you want to look at your health, if you have a dream diary, if there's things that you want to do for yourself and you want to look up past solar data, you can do that. So this website is spaceweather.com. And on the right hand side, it says archives. So you can pull down month, day, and year, and it will bring up the archive for that day. On the left hand side, it will show you the solar wind values for that day, the X-ray flux for that day. And if you scroll down the page, it'll also show you a couple different things like the KP values and so on and so forth. Another place you can do that is with spaceweatherlive.com. They have an archive that goes back to 1996. And that will show you the solar flares, the KP values, and I believe solar proton storms as well. I love these guys. They also have an app you can find in the Google Play Store. And by the way, I'm not affiliated with any of these websites at all. These are just places I go to and that I use. And the next place you can go to for archival data is a solar terrestrial website. It's also known as Solin. So if you go to this website and you scroll down, you'll see in the data in archive daily reports and monthly data since 2003. You can click on that. And then it goes back to 2003. Now, keep in mind, spaceweatherlive.com goes back further. But this particular website will also show you the active regions on the sun. They have some really great images and other data that the other ones may not have. So why do some people feel it more than others? Why do some people feel it more strongly, um, or not at all? Well, again, we are not clones of each other. For one thing, half the population is different from the other half by virtue of biological sex, and that alone creates a difference in how we experience space weather. There are very different reasons for that. Some that has to do with hormones, the presence of testosterone or estrogen. And as far as females are concerned, whether or not you're on your cycle, where you're at in your monthly cycle can have a bearing on how you feel during space weather effects. If you have an illness, whether it's a psychological illness or a physical illness, if you have a chronic illness, you're probably going to be more likely to feel the effects of space weather, especially if it's a CNS, ANS disorder like multiple sclerosis, like I have, or a cardiovascular disorder because of the way your heart rate variability is altered during these things. If you're on medication, it might either suppress or enhance what you may feel during space weather effects. Additionally, if you live near a magnetically active region, like near volcanoes or fault lines, you may even feel it more. So, because volcanoes have magma either actively moving during eruptions or underneath the volcano, that does enhance the local magnetic field of those areas. And if you live above the 42nd parallel. So people in Canada, people in Russia, for instance, a lot of the research for heliobiology tends to come out of those regions because of how strong the effects are on those individuals versus, say, people who live near the equator. So again, I do have an app in the works. And in order to get it out to the public, I do have to upgrade it, which I cannot do right now because I am hilariously broke. And here's how two of the apps I'm working on look like. As I mentioned in the video I did yesterday, I like the layout of this one, but no matter what I do, it just won't give me the accurate space weather. Keep in mind, I did, these are the values. This is from yesterday. I took these screenshots yesterday to share. So the values that it shows, they're not going to be accurate on this one anyway. But this one does have accurate values, but the screenshot is from yesterday, so it's not accurate to right now. This is the other one I'm doing. I love this one. But again, I have to pay to upgrade to make it public and then make it make it so that everybody's data is unique to them, so that it's private, it's secure, and I'm almost there, but I do have to upgrade. And I like this one as well because it does have a history function where you can go back 30 days and input values if you forgot. And this one will track your mood, your sleep, your dreams, your sleep quality, and how long you slept. And it will also offer you a multi-factor correlational analysis. So if you're interested in this app, please comment, let me know. Um, and I will try to get it out there. Future videos will include the hows and whys of heliopsychology, how to read the sun, discussions of relevant research, updates on solar activity, and answering questions from viewers. If you would like to see more videos like this one, please like and subscribe, comment. Again, I am not monetized. That takes some time to get to. This is a new YouTube channel. If I get more subscribers and more views, and I may also do some live videos for Q&A. If you would like to collaborate on a research project, you can contact me through YouTube's messaging service or email me at my personal email, dr_helio@mail.com. If you would like to support my channel and my research and other groovy things I'm doing, like trying to get that app out there to the public, consider donating via Venmo, dr_helio. Again, thank you for watching. I hope you all are feeling great. Again, you may have tinnitus, you may experience pain, you may have headaches, you may feel tired. Now, some of you on the flip side may feel like super energized, like this is great and you're loving it, because we're not clones of each other, because we are all different. Some of us have chronic illnesses. Some of us are healthy. Some of us had great sleep last night. Some of us didn't. So there's going to be a lot of things that determine how you respond to it, if you notice you respond to it, and what those S effects are going to be. So look out for more videos in the future. And thank you for watching again.